Israel is a country with only 75 years of history, but it has nevertheless become a first-rate economic and military power. It is capable of facing any adversary in its region, despite being immersed in an almost perpetual conflict for decades and having suffered attacks from all its neighbors. Despite these challenges, Israel has managed not only to grow and develop, but also to position itself at the forefront of numerous sectors, making it a prosperous and wealthy state. Furthermore, Israel is a major military power, with well-equipped and trained armed forces. But how did it become what it is today? Where did Israel get all that money from? There's a lot behind this story, so get ready, because we're going to break it down. The first thing we need to look at before talking about the reasons for Israel's incredible development is whether it is really as rich and powerful as it seems. And the answer is yes. Israel has nothing to envy of other developed economies. Its GDP per capita has already surpassed that of European powers such as France, Germany, or even its former mother country, the United Kingdom. Compared to its neighbors, the difference is even more striking. Israel's GDP per capita is just over $52,000, while Egypt's is barely over $3,500, Jordan's and Lebanon's are around $4,000, and Turkey's is around $9,000. In short, compared to its surrounding countries, Israel is actually a very rich country. And this is even more impressive when we consider that Israel does not have the advantages of the Persian Gulf monarchies, as it is not rich in oil and gas, nor does it possess large quantities of rare minerals that have helped its development. However, apart from being quite rich, life in Israel is good. Well, at least when there are no rockets falling. According to the Human Development Index, which measures not only economic aspects but also variables such as education and life expectancy, Israel is far ahead of countries such as Italy, France, Austria, and Spain. Now that we know that Israel is a rich and developed country, much more so than many of the great powers we know, the question arises: why is this so, if it apparently has everything against it? To understand this, it is necessary to look back a little. Israel was not always the prosperous country we know today. It was founded in 1948, in a mostly arid territory with few natural resources, as well as being in a geopolitically hostile environment. Since its birth, Israel has been involved in several wars, both with the Palestinians and with its neighbors. The United States was quick to take notice of Israel. The Americans needed a reliable ally in the region, and the cultural similarities with Israel made it an ideal choice. So the United States began to support Israel financially with direct aid and generous lines of credit. However, although this aid was crucial, it was not enough. Israel had to face a huge public expense, since, as we all know, preparing for war is a very expensive business. In addition, the Israeli government spared no effort to ensure that its citizens lived in good conditions, resulting in high social spending. The problem was that the Israeli government was losing a lot of money, and it was becoming increasingly difficult and expensive to borrow money. With the need to invest in military equipment essential to its survival, the government was forced to print large amounts of money. And what happens when you print so much money? Exactly, in the 1980s, Israel faced hyperinflation that exceeded 350% annually. The country was on the brink of collapse and needed drastic change if it was to survive in the complex Middle East region. To combat hyperinflation, the Israeli government took two exceptional measures. First, it cut public spending to reduce its deficit, putting its finances in order. Second, it granted independence to the Central Bank of Israel, freeing it from government control and stopping uncontrolled money printing. This strategy paid off, and by 1987, inflation was under control. With a more stable economic situation and a currency that had recovered its value, it was time to begin developing the economy. But how to do it, and where to get the money? Although the United States continued to collaborate with Israel, there is another key group that has provided a lot of financial muscle to the country: the Jewish diaspora. Jews living outside Israel have been instrumental, not only through investments, but also through donations, purchasing government bonds, and financing infrastructure and education projects. In addition, they have acted as ambassadors for Israel, opening doors internationally for Israeli companies. Despite this financial support, Israel has never lost focus on its defense. Surrounded by enemies seeking its destruction, Israel has developed a range of advanced technologies and expertise, many of which have emerged from elite units of the defense forces, such as Unit 8200, which specializes in intelligence and cyber warfare. This unit has been a hotbed of entrepreneurs in the technology sector. Beyond defense, Israel implemented effective government policies to stimulate research and development. The government created state-backed venture capital funds to invest in small startups and help them grow. It also offered tax incentives, but most importantly, it created strong partnerships between academia, industry, and the military, a formula very similar to the American one. These initiatives have been fundamental pillars in the creation of a sustainable innovation ecosystem. In the early 1990s, the disintegration of the Soviet Union brought with it a wave of highly skilled immigrants who quickly integrated into Israel's knowledge-based economy. All this gear and the perfect storm of elements led the Israeli government to bet on investment in research and development as its hallmark. Today, Israel is the country that invests the most in research and development in the world, devoting 5.4% of its GDP to this area, twice as much as countries like France or Norway, and more than 3 times as much as Spain. This innovative drive has benefited numerous sectors, including semiconductors, cybersecurity, jewelry, and agriculture. Despite the fact that much of Israel is desert, it has managed to modernize its agriculture to the point of becoming a world leader in the production of dates and oranges. The same is true for water management and renewable energy, which has allowed Israel to reduce its dependence on other countries. Finally, we cannot fail to mention the Israeli mentality, known as Chutzpah, a Yiddish term that roughly translates as audacity. This entrepreneurial spirit has led Israeli entrepreneurs to take risks, challenge the status quo, and view failure as a learning opportunity. In summary, the factors that explain the Israeli economic miracle are: first, foreign aid from the United States and the Jewish diaspora. Second, deficit control and the independence of the central bank. Third, collaboration between private enterprise, universities, and the military. Fourth, large investments in research and development. And fifth, the entrepreneurial mindset of the nation.